Welcome back to another video of JAMEY'S car flips. In today's video we're going to be attempting to install this water pump on this Vauxhall Astra I bought from BCA auction. The reason I have to replace the water pump is because the car has a massive coolant leak coming from the water pump. And this is how bad the coolant leak was. This is probably the worst coolant leak that I've ever seen. So the first thing to do is to remove this airbox. So the airbox is out and this is the space that I've got to work with. Time to take out the engine mount bolts and get this water pump done as quick as possible. Now I've got to get these bigger ones off now. That wasn't too bad. Wasn't too bad. That wasn't too bad. Got to jack the engine up a bit more. So all the bolts are now out, the engine's supported by the jack, so let's get this engine mount off. So now I've got to get this off so I can have access to the water pump. Engine mount is now off. Got to crack these bolts and then take off the drive bell. Let's get the thermostat out. And just like that, the thermostat is now out. How the hell am I going to stop this thing? There you go, that worked, there you go, that worked, and that also worked, and now I've taken it out. So guys, I've just gotten the belt off, now it's time to get the water pump out, but yeah, I've got the belt off. Let's get these bolts out. Let's get these bolts out to reveal the water pump. Let's get the bolts out of this water pump and see where it's leaking from. I've just taken out all the screws from the water pump and you can see all the screws are different lengths. What I've done is I've put them where they go in here. Then when I take the old pump off, I'm going to put the screws in where they need to go on the old pump. So when I now put the new pump on, I know where all the screws go. Let's take the water pump off and see where it was leaking from. As you can see, it was leaking from here. So this is where the water pump was leaking from. The gasket looks okay. Actually, it looks pretty damaged. But I thought that the gasket would be worse than that. And just like that, all the bolts are swapped over so I know where they go when I put the new water pump on. But first thing, let's give here a bit of a clean because it's just full of oil and all of that stuff. I'm probably going to have to get some sandpaper and sort of sand it down a bit. But it's gonna give it a good clean. I'll be back once I've done that. I blocked up the water pump hole and started sanding so I have a nice smooth surface where the new water pump gasket can seal. Time to get the new water pump and gasket in. I've sanded it down and the surface area is all clean now. So let's get this water pump in. This one's in as well. Let's try and get all the screws in. So the water pump is on, but you never guess what broke. This connector here for this has broken, and that is like 70–80 pounds. This just for this thing here. Oh, that's friggin' annoying, guys. That is so irritating. What a headache, guys. What a headache. Oh, this is so irritating. Because that thing there is like 80 pounds. I've already spent like over 400 pounds on this car already. Just fixing it. And that's going to be like 80 pounds. So, can't say I'm not annoyed. Because I am. Alright, let's get everything back together. I also have a new belt as well to go on. But what an absolute bloody nightmare, man. Everything's now back together, and now it's time to put the new belt on. So everything's back together. All I need to do is put the engine mount back on. I'm not sure if I'm going to start the engine or not, considering that this here has broken off. Right, time to put the engine mount back on. So where's the screws at? That's there, that's there, that's there. I'm now putting the engine mount back on, and the water pump was a lot easier to do than I expected. That's now back on, and it's time to put the engine mount back on. So I'm just putting the bolts back in to the engine mount. I'm now making sure that all the engine mount bolts are tight. It's time to put the airbox back in. So everything's now back together. Now it's time to put coolant in the car. So yeah, let's put some coolant in. Right, let's put some coolant in this coolant expansion tank. As you can hear, there's probably a lot of air in the system right now. Guys, I'm going to try to start the car. Let's see what happens. So the fan is on, which I think is because of this wire, but let's put the heating on, full blast. So I've currently got the heater on so I can bleed the cooling system, and let's see if it's heated up yet. Yeah, it's starting to warm up now, guys. So I've just got back from taking the car for a test drive, and I can say there is no more coolant leak. If I look at the floor, you can see no more coolant is leaking, which is absolutely great. So the coolant leak is fixed, but there's another issue that I've got to now fix that's cost me 80 quid. Is this thing right here, the plug has broken off, as you can see, and that's about £80 to fix, which is a bit annoying. Anyway guys, keep tuned for the next video. This video is not really a positive outcome. The water pump is fixed, there's no leak, but I broke something that's now £80. So it's pissed me off a bit, I'm not gonna lie, but I'm gonna have to get that fixed. Well, I'm gonna have to fix that, get the part ordered, and just get that done. But all in all, the water pump was easy. The water pump was not hard to do, so that was easy to do. I've done the water pump, there's no more leaking. So I just got to replace that thing because the engine light has now come on the dashboard because of that thing. See, the engine light is now on because of the camshaft sensor that I bloody broke. I'm going to connect my diagnostic tool and just see if it's codes to do with that. There is just one fault code, and the fault code is exhaust camshaft, position solenoids. Well, the engine light hasn't come back on. I'm just giving the car a little test drive in the car park, and the engine light has not come back on, and the car drives fine, so maybe it was just fault codes. But let me turn the car off and turn it back on and see what it's saying. So close it, open it, and Thanks for watching. Make sure you like, comment and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next video when we have to fix this sensor that I broke.